Hi, this is Mango, and as you can see straight ahead, when you notice her, of course, very, very pretty, but you notice that the red really grabs focus from her eyes and lips. We've even done her makeup already very softly with some pink eyes and lips, but still the cheeks tend to grab focus. So when you do your makeup, you want to find a way to reduce the distractions and then enhance the attraction. So I'm going to show you how to reduce the distraction with Mango. Turn towards me, please. First thing I'm going to do is a little bit of moisturizer in this area because I'm going to be putting on a fair amount of a corrector onto her skin. And that's really important when you're starting to put more product on your skin, that skin is well hydrated. Otherwise, it's just not going to go on smooth. So I'm stressing just a little bit of a more moisturizer throughout her skin in order to make the product I'm about to put on go on more natural. All right, so what I'm going to use is a green. And I work off of this very popular wheel with lots of different correctors and contour colors. But I'm going to take the green and I'm going to start putting that right in the area of concern. Now, my philosophy in makeup is you want it to build up away from the skin. You want it to, instead of like, let me show you what's wrong. Don't put this on like this, brushing it. All you do is just kind of smear it, and you see I get no coverage. But by pressing, I'm building up coverage. And so what happens is by layering, I get a nice smooth kind of neutralization of the cheek area, right? And it's not coming off. So it's just press, press, press. It's a little bit more of a process to apply, but it's so much more effective, which is what we like. Turn a little bit that way for me, perfect. So here's a nice, fresh, red cheek, and I really just want to show you my technique a little bit so you understand, you know, what you need to do in order to achieve this effect at home, especially if rosacea is a concern of yours. Why correctors are so good is that they work better throughout the day than concealers. Foundation tends to thin and wear off, but correctors, they tend to keep your skin looking more balanced. So if you put this on first and then your foundation, you're so much better off before you put the foundation on. So I'm layering this on, layer by layer, and if I need more, I can put more on, just like that. See how it builds up? It's amazing. It's like using an airbrush machine, but of course without having an airbrush machine, because you're actually building up away from the skin. So once you think you have enough coverage going on throughout the face, you have a couple of options for softening this. You always can just take your finger and look what I'm doing. I'm pressing and rolling. What I'm doing is I'm flattening that corrector right down to the skin. See how I'm moving my hand? I'm rolling my finger through. If you rub it, you just remove everything you've just done. You can also just do a stipple, which is a press, press, press technique. And the last technique you can use, let me grab a sponge here. The last technique you can use is a sponge. And the sponge, you want to take and you want to squeeze it. See, I'm squeezing it and it makes it kind of round here. Then it's just a bigger surface to flatten and press and roll. And now we've got a good layer of her corrector on her skin, but you see it's very flat and skin-like, which is very important. Now I'm gonna put foundation over this, but my foundation's gonna be wet. So before I put my foundation on, I'm going to powder, right? See that powder flying up everywhere? So just kind of dab that into place. You wanna dry this product down. Otherwise, when I put my wet foundation over the top of this, it's just going to act like a remover. And it's just going to slip that foundation right, corrector right off her skin, and what's the point of taking all that time if it's just going to come off? So now comes foundation time, and I'm always going to work in very small layers. Turn towards me, please. Now, when I put this foundation, see, look at that. It doesn't drag off the corrector. It stays right on her skin. I'm doing short strokes. Now, admittedly, I'm going softer than I would normally when I'm doing foundation, because you know I have to be careful. I am trying to cover this area. So I am being a little more ginger with my brush, just using the top hairs of my brush and gently blending this out over the cheek area. This is where I want the most coverage. Just like this. Wow, this is really impressive. Does a great job at sort of smoothing over that green and really evening out the redness in her cheeks quite well. So just really quick, I'm going to do a little bit more foundation throughout the rest of her face so that whatever we're using on her cheek area blends in with the rest of the tones in her skin, up along her forehead. I always suggest working in a Y shape, this shape, up coming off the forehead. So the brush is always going in the same direction so that light's reflecting in the same direction when you apply. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of my foundation and I'm just going to do a little more stippling now with a bigger brush, and now I'm kind of flattening it down. And that does such a good job at evening out her redness. I mean, I'm really close to her, as I'm sure you are too. And you can see that it actually looks, you know, very, very natural. So in daylight, as she's walking around, there's a good distance, you know, between her and the next person. She's really going to look really fresh and natural. I'm going to get a little bit more coverage right here. Don't be afraid like, oh my God, it might be too much. Just keep stippling and flattening it down. You can always grab your sponge and gently roll this product back down into the skin as well. And that does a really good job at evening out skin tone. Now remember that foundation is wet, and if you want it to live on your face all day, make sure you just say, stay, stay. Just put a little bit of powder right through that area. It'll really help hold that technique together. And you should get 8 hours out of every application of your foundation as long as you use powder. There you go. How to cover redness with a rosacea-like skin, red-like skin. If you're watching this at makeupgourmet.com, I've listed my current favorite products to achieve this look. Click on one and try it. If you're not at makeupgourmet.com, go there now to see my favorite product picks for this look, as well as everything else we have to offer. How to apply, what to buy. makeupgourmet.com.